Good morning. I must say, I do like my old cameraman. It means I've got hands-free. It's a good trick, that. One Swiss Army knife and a pair of spectacle case. Right, said Fred. My last morning in Sunderland in Northumbria. I think it's still, perhaps it isn't down here actually, it might be something else. It's an urban district or something. Oh, this is palm oil or something, this, which suffices as a tissue. Got a rather nice sort of scent to it. Oh, do your stuff. Fourth day, so Saturday, 2 pills, capsules, Sunday, Monday, now Tuesday. I've got 4 days worth of doxycycline in me. Do your stuff. I've got 3 more to go. Antibiotic. It's for cellulitis. So talk of amputation was a little premature. God, it felt like it though. Boy, oh boy. It must be on the mend by now. And hopefully cleared up soon. Well, thank heavens one doesn't know what life has in store, quite frankly. I mean, I've said that many a time. If I'd had just the slightest inkling what was ahead of me in my middle years, 31 years worth, 1990, I met a woman through our horses. I mean, I just totally would have said, no, thank you. I'd rather be dead. All caused by an evil woman. Well, God has his chosen path for us. My son committed suicide, and if I ever mention it or talk about it, I then have to say, but the glorious upside is the priceless gift I have been given through those years. It's beyond price. You cannot put a price on a rock-solid faith. It's free, available to anyone. God just happens to have given me a particularly large dose of it. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. And he's just added the icing on the cake. Oh dear. Well, I say that. What's suffering? Suffering is, for an adult, a blessing. As in the letter of James, consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds, for the testing of your faith develops perseverance, and through perseverance comes wisdom. So you've got to persevere, and you've got to keep looking straight into that mirror. Okay, don't be a double-minded person. Don't think this or that or the other thing. Just keep straight at it. Oh, Lord. It's only salt water. Good for you. Releases endorphins, laughing and crying. That's why they have theatres, isn't it? Who knows what the future holds? And as I say, thank heavens we don't. Right, well, Magical Mystery Tour continues. It's a lovely morning. It's still jolly warm in this building. Gets the full afternoon sun. So even with the blinds drawn, it's still heating up. like a blooming greenhouse. So, I forgive them. Not so straightforward with the Northumbrian police. I mean, a general rule of thumb would be don't take on the police, basically, if you've got any sense at all, because they've got far bigger resources than you, and they know all the angles and the nooks and crannies, and they'll catch you with something. But I can't have that. If I'm to go back to Alnwick and live in Northumbria, I've got to tackle them. I've got an email now, police complaints, OPCC or whatever it is. I mean, there's one specific PC even asked me, do I remember his name? And I do. PC Dodds. It's gone in. I saw him so often. I was angry. I was furious, actually. So my voice was raised. So he stopped the meat wagon, got out, and handcuffed me to shut me up. Thank you, PC Dodds. It's only about 30-something. He was the one who arrested me the last time as well. It was an Asian woman, WBC Ali, ALR. I'm calling them both. See if we get them there to my day in court. I don't think they actually know what's going to hit them, whether I've got enough time scheduled for it. I'm going to hit them with absolutely everything I've got. 3,500 films, they're going to know about it. My beautiful, beautiful films. How do you think I make them? Go through the titles. They're all love and God and follow thou thy star and stuff. Where do you think it comes from? Is it magic that I've done that? It comes from my soul, from God. Thwack a child. I've said it. I'd rather be dead than thwack a child. It's the most appalling choice of paedophile and thwacking a child. The combination. I love children in a proper manner. Oh, wonderful. There was this little baby came out, just a few months old, little face, held in mummy's arms. They're so sweet when they're not crying or teething or got colic or something. I used to watch that thing called the Teletubbies. At the beginning, there was this little sunflower and a little head of a baby, and going, ah! I've run out, haven't I? This old towel, believe it or not. I'm a most curious fellow. I get a thing and I keep it forever, so I found it in Perugia because I love St. Francis of Assisi. So I was there in Umbria. Perugia's sort of county town of Umbria, and Umbria is where Assisi is, in Monte Sabazio, where the citizens of Assisi could see a great big aurora, like the aurora borealis shining when the monks were in contemplative prayer. Just ordinary people, not... Anyway, I found this old towel there. I've hung on to it for years now, probably 10 years. It's getting a little threadbare. Love is the answer. Love, 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 love. There's nothing else. 2 commandments. Love God, love your neighbour as yourself. And it's all about love. Yes, we have to have some money, agreed. But the West is hell-bent on focusing itself on money, and it's rubbish. leads nowhere. The love of money, that's the quote is, it's not money is the root of all evil, it's the love of money is the quote, as it should be. So if you have in your heart the love of money and not the love of God, then I'm afraid there's no hope for you. It's in Matthew chapter 6. You cannot serve two masters. You either love God, spiritual matters, or you love money. Specifically, that word is my translation. The New International Version uses the word money, not any other word. Not material things or whatever, it's specifically the word money. Love God, that's the point. Above all else. First, foremost, at your waking, at your sleeping, and then everything will fall into place. And yes, even difficulties in one's adult lifetime can be seen through that light of God's loving hand teaching you things. I've been taught by that evil woman, my former wife. Absolutely. No question or shadow of a doubt about it. I've learnt lessons which I would have never had a clue about. I couldn't speak like this. I used to love God, as it were. I went to church and, put God in his box on a Sunday sort of thing, and that's that, done and dusted, right, and get on with our lives for the rest of the week. Doesn't work like that, you see. As the years have gone by, the decades have gone by in my life, what I have found and now increasingly find is every single moment of every single day, you're walking with God. And it's beautiful. And in this, my particular current recent adversity, a few little things have happened which I won't elaborate on, it didn't take too long, but just absolute signs that God was looking after me. Well, one little one, for instance. There I was in Newcastle, and I was just too zonked to buy food or think of anything, and I hadn't eaten all day. I booked into the Premier Inn, and I was just about walking there, hobbling along on my old crutches. And lo and behold, on the bench, the bus stop, just by the Premier, there were 4 little lunch boxes of rice and savoury rice or something. And I think it's from the food bank. But they were just sitting there, all alone, unwrapped, just the 4 little boxes. So I had supper that night, just provided, somehow, miraculously. Where did that come from? Obviously someone left them there, but what, just for me to find? They couldn't have been there long. It's almost as if God put them there, just like that. I'm down to 2 boxes. They're rather cheap little plastic ones. They're not proper, supermarket ones. So 2 of them are broken already. Well, no, I left one behind. I had 3, and then I'm now down to 2, which I've got in the freezer here filled with the last of my supplies. So that sort of thing, and that's happened before to me as well in adversity. Food has just appeared miraculously in a carrier bag. I was in Rome once, it happened as well. So how does God have... I mean, it's just miraculous, quite frankly. The time and energy to bother about feeding me. Children, on the other hand, I find it very difficult. I really do. I struggle with it. It barely bears listening to. Raqqa, is it, in Syria? No water, no electricity. Look at me. Lights galore, water, obviously, fridge, cooking, everything. And that's just one example. So love is the answer. Love is the answer. And it's a daily thing, with our human nature. So it's take up your cross and follow me each day. Well, none of us are perfect, and we fall down, we fall out with each other. So then we've got, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them that trespass against us. Why should God forgive you and listen to your prayers and supplications and the like if all the time you're harboring ill thoughts, ill deeds, doing against someone else? Well, of course not. You must try and reconcile. You must forgive, okay? It's absolutely enjoined upon one to forgive those who've trespassed against you. You can't, it happened to me a Saturday, not 2 Saturdays back. I was just so angry with this whole blooming business. I couldn't pray. I normally have morning prayers between 8 and 10. And I just couldn't do it. I was just too angry. Furious. I'll pray today. 8 o'clock, I try and hit 8 o'clock. I found on YouTube, Christ's language was Aramaic, and it's a Syrian religious father singing the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, and I play that. I say the Lord's Prayer as the candle is. I have my old staff, and then just sort of silent worship. I'll pray today. I'm all right, just about. Had some sleep. Got me ticket. Oh, I was so pleased with this. I booked it at first, and then I thought about it. And I looked and I went back, and I've made a huge saving. I booked a return ticket at 80-something pounds. And I thought I'd just see, because I don't know when I'm coming back, that's the point. 3 months, for heaven's sake. 2.5 months in October into the court hearing, and I'm already booked into the hotel next door, the Premier Inn, on the Sunday evening and the following Monday evening. Oh, blooming hell, Snuffles. So unless we can open up the bail and get me back in my own home, I'm down there in the porch of the Baptist Church in St. Albans. So I booked a return because I think a return is more sensible. And I looked it up, and I've gone and got a single now for 20-something plus a £10 cancellation fee. But I should get 70-something quid back. I was chuffed about that. I thought about it later, and I thought, I don't think I need a return, really. My normal modus vivendi, anyway. I buy a one-way flight to somewhere or wherever, because I don't know when I'm coming back, especially Italy. I mean, literally, I went, when I originally started going out there, I just bought, I went across on the ferry to France, and then through France, and then to Assisi. And it was always just a one-way ticket. I had no idea what was in store. And I went for years at a time. I think I came back, I left after my knee operation, I think about November the 4th, 2010, and I only got back into England, I think, in 2013 via France, Italy, and then the only benefit I've ever got out of YouTube is a woman bought me an airline ticket to Seattle, SeaTac Airport in America. We'd sort of fallen in love online, me and women. I was going to marry her too. Hopeless case. Love the woman who loves you. Eh? Well, my first main love was someone called Sally Louisa Clark with an E, and she loved me very much, and I wouldn't marry her. After about 5 years, I knew it wasn't right, but my life would have been so different with Sally. Gee, none of this blooming sexual abuse by the parents rubbish in her life. They were just lovely old elderly gentlefolk, Sally's parents. Right, I think that's enough of a ramble. Life goes on, but love is the answer. Love God, love your neighbour as yourself. Amen. And the closing shot is Mary.